They've got wisdom, experience, and lots of living yet to do. But many seniors find that their housing situation is just far from ideal. Too much house, too little, or maybe just too expensive as couples become singles. Earlier this year, Pat Dunn started a Facebook group in search of solutions. It's called Senior Ladies Living Together, and it's hit a nerve. And Louise Bardswich is here. She is one of the so-called Golden Girls of Port Perry, Ontario. Welcome to both of you. I know you hate that, don't you? You hate that Golden Girls thing.
We're reconciled to it. It's a very nice short form for people, but yeah, initially we had a little difficulty with it.
Well, there's a law, I guess a bill on the way to becoming a law called the Golden Girls Act. So, you know, you can't really run away from it now.
No, we can't. We can't.
Okay, let's figure this out, because you're a former dean at Humber College.
Yes.
And suddenly you have sort of struck on an idea that seems to be a real solution for a lot of people. Explain what you're doing.
Well, four of us in Port Perry, all older women, sold our own homes and bought a house together. And really our plan in doing that was to try to take control of our aging. So we intend to age in place. What we really mean is we intend to die in place. That's where we're going to spend the rest of our lives, we hope.
Sheldon, you want to put the picture up and we'll be able to see? You've been kindly allowed us to show a picture here. Yeah. That's your place?
That's our place.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's, as I was saying, it's nicer than what any one of us could have afforded by ourselves, and it's right downtown, which I think for seniors is a really important point.
Because you're engaged and you get to see other people.
We can walk to things. If, you know, once we lose our licenses, we're still going to be okay.
That's going to be a long time away for you.
I
You know that, right?
sincerely hope so.
Yes, I'm sure. Now, let's just, as long as I'm being a smart aleck here, are you Betty White or are you B. Arthur? Which one are you? No, okay.
I think I might be a little combination of both. A little bit bossy, but not too bright.
Gotcha. Sheldon, you want to bring the next shot up as well? Can we see Louise's housemate? So that's the gang.
That's the gang.
Now, how did you all agree that you could live together amicably?
We probably didn't handle it as well as we would recommend other people did, although we were very lucky in how it turned out. With it being a relatively new concept, it's surprisingly hard to get people to actually put money down on the table and say, you know, you're going to go into it. So very early on, Martha and I had been talking about it, knew it was the best approach, you know, financially for each of us. And then when the builder approached us and we found a property that was going to need 4 people, we just went through a process of trying to find the others. Bev came in early, and then at the very end, we managed to find Sandy.
And you've been together 3 years now?
It'll be 3 years in November.
3 years in November.
Yes.
How's it working out?
It's working out remarkably well, much better than I had ever thought it would.
What did you worry about?
I lived alone for 13 years. And I really, really worried about living with other people and whether, you know, we would get on each other's nerves or whatever. As it turns out, though, we have lots of privacy. So when I'm getting that kind of feeling I need to be alone, I can do that. But at the same time, it's lovely to wake up in the morning and you hear people talking downstairs, and then go downstairs and share a cup of coffee and look at the news and talk about all the terrible things that are going on and the good things. And it's great. It's really nice.
It was a bit controversial for a little while, right? Like the Human Rights Commission had to get involved?
Yes, it was controversial in our little town, and that's partly where the Golden Girls Act came in, you know, the motivation for it. It was actually not our property. It was a previous property that the same builder was doing, but a couple of us were involved in helping him promote it because we had sort of brought the idea to town of shared living. And so we got very involved in that, but he was turned down on a building permit for a previous project that would have had 6 people living together. And we got into a huge fight over it. At the end of the, you know, final, it was like the bad news bears. Last minute, the Ontario human rights people stepped in and said, give your head a shake, town. You can't do that. And so they eliminated all of the language they were thinking of putting into their building code.
And all's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well. By the time we got ready to do our project, it was clear sailing, no issues at all.
Good.
Yes.
Pat, you're involved in this from a Facebook, social media point of view.
That's correct.
Tell me how you got involved in this issue.
It came out of my own need as a widow and a low-income pensioner. I realized that there was no way that I was going to be able to find anything that I could afford to live in, and then I didn't want to live alone. So I thought, there must be other ladies like me. So I put it out on Facebook to Peterborough and Lindsay area, figuring maybe 10 ladies would come and chat with me about it. And first week there was 58, and 50 the next week, and 50 the next week. And so I thought, okay, bigger than me. And so I either stop or I go forward, but I have to go forward as providing some support to all these ladies. So that's what I just chose to do, and it's become my passion and my life.
When you created this Facebook site, did you imagine that you would have tapped a nerve the way you have?
No, I had no idea. No idea. I've learned so much. Every day I learn so much.
Like what?
Oh gosh, well, just more about the width and breadth of the problem of housing, the multiple layered problems of housing in Ontario, the issues of loneliness and how that affects our well-being as well as our actual physical health, and the issues of how does one have the success that these ladies have had, and how do I help people to find the right fit, to build homemade agreements that have substance and are manageable, that sort of thing. So, gosh, I mean, I learn every day.
That is kind of the tricky part of this, right? You not only need people whose needs match up, but who have personalities that will be agreeable to one another, and who are not, I guess, too afraid to face the legal issues head on. Because at some point, I mean, Louise, you kind of said it, at some point you're not all going to be living together, and
Absolutely.
I guess there's issues of who's going to inherit my quarter of this situation, all of that.
Well, in my case, in my situation, it's all about renting. So we don't have the means to purchase any, none of us do. So we're finding rentals, and then of course, and living in rentals. And so there's not the same kinds of issues, but there's different ones
Right.
That limit us, like the rental market. And there's zero vacancy rate in Peterborough right now. But there's lots of houses for sale. So that's comes another issue.
Right.
Yeah.
If this gets too personal, you just say, Paikin, you mind your own damn business here, okay?
No, I
But
can say, and I talk about anything.
Okay, you were married?
I was.
How long ago did your husband pass away?
Be 5 years in November.
5 years. And you lived together in a home that you owned at that point?
No, actually, we lived on a boat.
You lived on a boat?
Yeah. We
Okay.
met when we were in our early 50s after both being divorced, and we were both boaters, and we decided we wanted that kind of future, so we bought a boat and lived on it, and then we traveled in the Caribbean. He died while we were in Mexico.
That sounds very romantic, though.
It was.
And why was it no longer an option for you to live on the boat after he died?
Well, the boat was costing me $1,000 US just to have it sit in the marina in Florida, so that wasn't going to work. And we had lost a lot of money, both of us, in the 2008 of our pensions and possibility and our investments, I guess. So we had. So I came back really to Canada without him and with no money.
So the status quo was no longer an option. You had
That's
to
right.
find an alternative
That's right.
means of housing yourself
Yes.
going forward.
And I couldn't wait for the government to make the changes needed. They've known we've been baby boomers coming along for a long time, and still there's not enough rental spaces. Rent geared to income is really limited, and 5-10 year wait when I'm already 69. So I thought, okay, well, if I have to do it myself, I'll do it myself.
So you've put this group together. How many people altogether now on this Facebook?
1,536.
Whew, okay, so it's a thing.
That's what I say. It's
a
a big
thing.
issue.
And have you resolved your own housing situation yet?
Almost. I have met my 3 ladies, so there's 4 of us, similar to Louise here. And we've gone through a process of getting to know each other, of finding the right fit amongst us. And now we're looking for a house to rent.
House to rent? In Peterborough?
In Peterborough.
Gotcha.
So, which is awkward because there's not very much to rent. But I just had a conversation with a real estate investor who lives in Ottawa, a female, and she's interested in being, helping with social issues. And so she's talking about buying a house for us and renting it to us
Neat.
long term. So you just kind of put it out there and things start to happen.
There you go.
Yeah.
How much, I notice in Great Britain right now, Louise, there is a minister responsible for loneliness, which is that's a pretty new
pretty
thing.
cool.
And I wonder how much of a factor do you think loneliness is in driving this phenomenon that you're a part of?
I think it's a big part, and there's a lot of research out there that really recognizes that loneliness is a killer in the long term. Loneliness, there's also that related to that is the safety issue. Just to make there's somebody around to make sure that you wake up in the morning or to alert the authorities if you don't. That's really nice to know. But loneliness, that's I think a big driver. Really.
And why was it not an option for you to do what many other people obviously do, which is to move into some kind of retirement residence or that kind of thing?
I could have, and really what motivated our move in this direction was watching my mom move into a retirement home in Port Perry, which was wonderful for her. She loved it. It kind of creeped me out, to tell the truth.
What about it creeped you out?
Just the forced togetherness. So she was having dinner with people that she didn't choose to necessarily have dinner with every day, and activities that you were encouraged to go to that you might not have wanted to, and I didn't want to be that organized. And if I was going to have meatloaf on Tuesday, I wanted that to be my choice, that I was having meatloaf on Tuesday. So it was around getting control. It was also the cost, though. That was the original driver, really. When I was researching places for my mom, I asked how much retirement homes were going up every year and asked for the history. And they seemed to, at that point, have been going up 3% a year. So having a math background, I took a look at what it was going to cost my mom, thought of myself maybe 20 years out, what that would be, and did the calculation and realized it wasn't in the cards. I was not going to be able to afford that, unless for sure you're going to die quick. I've got this death thing going on, but really, if at that stage my mom looked like she was going to live to be 100, and I wasn't going to be able to afford a retirement home for that kind of time.
Is the plan for you and your three housemates to be in that house for the rest of your lives?
That's the plan. Now, we also recognize there could be other, if there are health issues that mean you have to move out, that's one thing. We also recognize there could be personality changes as people age. So that's all part of our legal agreement, and people in that case could be kind of voted off the island.
Well, that's what I wondered. Like if somebody gets dementia, for example,
Yeah.
are the other three expected to care for that person?
No, we haven't signed up to be each other's caregivers. We have designed the house in a way that would allow us to have live-in care if we wanted to. And the deal is if you need care, you pay for it. And we're sort of hoping, because we're similar ages, that when that happens, at least two people will need care. And that's, again, an opportunity to share that cost as well. So if all goes well, yes, we would stay in the house. We would bring in more care as time moves on, and hopefully die there. Yeah.
Speaking of bringing in, what happens if one of you meets somebody and wants to get married? Is the new husband or wife or whatever allowed to move in with?
As long as the other people are happy with that individual, then we could absolutely. We've talked that through, and right now none of us are involved with anybody, but that would be okay too. To have the occasional overnight guest, that would be just fine. God willing, it would ever happen. But yes, we have talked that through, and it certainly could happen.
I think you need to set up a subsequent Facebook page, a bit of a matchmaking
For the
site.
after.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
Now we've
yeah.
got you together. Now we're going to work on your social life. Okay, that's how it's going to work. Legally speaking, how complicated was it to put it all together? Do you all four own 1/4 of the house? Is it?
Yes, we do.
It is like that.
Yes, it wouldn't have to be that way, but that's how we were able to do it. And because the house was kind of a renovation and addition, we were able to set it up so our spaces are roughly equal in size and so on. So the 1/4 each makes some sense. We did put a legal agreement together. Took a little while to do it, but it wasn't the end of the world. The question people mostly want to know is, how do you get out?
Well, I was going to say, if someone wants out, do the other three have to buy you out?
No, well, not necessarily. So really that share of the house could go up for sale. And the only difference between kind of our arrangement and any sale is that the other people would have to approve the person who's moving in.
Oh.
And if after a year they can't, then the people remaining in the house have to buy out that share at market value, or worst case, put the whole house up for sale, which is a pretty powerful backstop.
Yeah.
Means we're not going to be terribly picky,
Yeah.
but we don't have to live with my friend's biker son. They none of them.
Did you just pluck that out of thin air, or is that a real thing?
No, it's not a
The
real
biker
thing.
son.
It's not a real thing.
I wonder whether this is not a template for others as well. I mean, you folks are seniors, but I can think of lots of millennials, for example, who are probably never going to be able to afford to buy a house themselves, but maybe if 4 or 5 or 6 of them went in together, they could do it. You think this is a template for other demographics?
Well, it's a trend. It's happening in the United States. People just cannot afford to either buy, and so they're looking at rental situations, or that they can buy a loan that can't. And so millennials are looking at this, and there's actual architects building, that kind of housing for millennials. The single parents, particularly single fathers. There's a trend that way for them. They can have share child raising as well. And gosh, it's just really, I think it's going to blow up, actually, because...
In a good way, you mean?
Yes,
In a good way.
yes.
Yeah.
Because I think there's just such a need. And then, as you mentioned, loneliness. I mean, people don't have to be old if they're living alone to be lonely. And they're finding out worldwide and Britain that when people are given confidential surveys, they're coming out and they're saying, yeah, I'm lonely. And they're 30.
Yeah. It's an interesting question too, Steve. Just last week, Martha and I had dinner with a group of young people here in Toronto.
Martha, one of your housemates.
One of my housemates, yes. A group here in Toronto who recently bought a house together. 6 young people bought a house. In their case, they don't share it equally, at least the cost, which is interesting.
Is that the picture there?
That's them.
There we
That's
go.
them. Holy mackerel. Lovely, lovely people. But yes, so it's working really well for them. And they talked about the biggest benefit being community, that they really enjoyed having other people around. And so.
This is, just in our remaining moments here, this is one of these things that really sounds on the surface like a great idea and meets needs and, can be terrific. But you're not going to be surprised to hear there are going to be people watching this saying, okay, but the fine print is going to be tricky in the end. Like, for example, what happens if there's a month where one of you 4 can't afford the rent? What do you do then?
Well, we created a homemade agreement, so it's actually on paper. It's similar probably to what you've done. And so people, the groups or 2 people that might decide to live together, sit down and go through this and create something. And it's a fluid document because a month after you move in, you might decide something needs to be changed. And it's not a legally binding document, but it's morally binding. And so, choosing your housemates and who you have that conversation with is crucial.
How many cities and towns across the province do you think are going to have to rethink, some of their bylaws, which of course currently prohibit this kind of arrangement, but going forward, they may need to take a second look at it? What do you think?
It's hard to say. I don't know how many places might have bylaws that would prevent this. At the time that little fight happened in Scugog, the township really went through some contortions to try to put laws in. It's not an easy thing to legislate against because, in fact, families are doing this right now. Related people are living together in a house.
Yeah.
And, at least in Ontario, it's pretty clear that you can't define a family by blood relationship. Family can be whatever you choose it to be. And, my family happens to be, in this case, 4 unrelated people. Yeah.
And there's a problem in the rental area in terms of legislation in that the Residential Tenancy Act does not cover people who, a woman, for instance, if I owned a home and invited someone to rent a room in my home. If we share a space, like a kitchen or a bathroom, that's not covered by the Residential Tenancy Act. So some ladies will get into that situation, maybe decide, oh, you know, she's got a lovely home and she's a nice person, and then they can be evicted at a moment's notice. There's no process that the homeowner has to go through.
But for example, can you sublet your room if you're going to go away for 2 months on vacation, or can you Airbnb your room?
Oh, don't talk to me about Airbnb. That's one of the problems and one of the reasons we don't have the rental space, long-term rental spaces. But that's another.
That's another show.
Yeah.
But have you guys figured out those kinds of contingencies as well?
Yes, yeah. That we talk about that. You know how it works if somebody wants to go away for 3 months. That's part of the homemade agreement as well.
Got it. You got all the bases covered.
No, I would never say that. I
hope so.
I'm learning every day.
Indeed, indeed. I want to thank both of you for coming in and sharing your views on this idea. We wish you continued success in your arrangement in Port Perry, and good luck with you in Peterborough getting your place all organized.
I'm looking forward to it.
Pat Dunn and Louise Bardswitz, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.